Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here, and apparently I have learned from an unnamed source that Stairway has been denied.
Yeah, Hollywood, you know I love you more than one man should. Yeah, Hollywood, well kiss me good. Yeah, Hollywood, you know I love you more.
When it comes to music, I had mentioned in a couple of videos that dealt with music in the past that I think there are points in time where I am just getting old. And I think it was pretty much told to me in the middle of last year through a friend of my younger sister, who's in her mid-20s, saying to me, "Oh my god, you don't know who this band or that band is?" And then I said, well, it's not like I don't know any bands that are out there. Currently I listen to this one and that one. And she responds by saying, "Oh, but those bands are so old." Yikes. So, I had to get some work done, and quite honestly, I wasn't really too happy with where music has gone. In fact, I haven't liked where music has gone since the late 1990s. However, through tons and tons of listening and reading and research, I managed to find two bands that have come out in the past couple of years that have basically become very mainstream, and I really do like them. So let's review these two new albums, even though they're not so new. They came out in 2012, but I found these bands far too late. The first band, you probably know this band inside and out right now if you're somewhere between the ages of 14 and 25. Fun! The band's album is called Some Nights. It's actually their second album, and the thing that I really enjoy about this album is the fact that it's a very fresh sound. Well, not necessarily so fresh when I take a look at where its roots are embedded, but the sound of Fun in this album is a sound that I really haven't heard from music in years. It sounds like the classic arena rock sounds of the 70s, like Styx and ELO and Queen. I hope I don't disgrace Freddie Mercury's name with this band Fun. Their two major singles that were basically all over the radio in 2012, the self-titled track Some Nights and We Are Young, are great songs. They're very original, and the rest of the album, while it's not perfect, it's not a bad listen. I really like Why Am I the One? That just sounds like an old Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young song for some strange apparent reason. I don't know why. I feel like when I listen to Some Nights, I am drawn back to the sounds of folk and arena 70s rock. And I hope that Fun manages to stick to their guns in regards to this specific signature sound and continue their now very well-known and prestigious career. They're up for a couple of Grammys this year, so I hope that they keep sticking with this. And the next band that I want to review is this one, Imagine Dragons. I am not a fan of the indie rock scene, and quite frankly, I don't know why people classify these guys as indie rock, because they don't sound like it. Picture Coldplay and the Killers getting married and having a firstborn child. That's the sound of Imagine Dragons. It has a little bit of folky sounds in the single It's Time, I guess you could say, but all in all it sounds like that neo-new wave sound that I really like, and my favorite song on this album is Tiptoe. It's just a great, cool song, and the rest of the songs are great too. I love Bleeding Out, I like Radioactive, not as much as most people, but it's a good listen straight through, and I think that Imagine Dragons is really going to be a big band in the coming years, and I hope that they are. But more importantly, I hope that I find some other new bands out there that I can really connect with, because before these two bands, the last new band that I really was listening to was Paramore, and they're working on their fourth album, which is coming out later on this year. The whole indie scene, I don't get it. I don't get Mumford & Sons, I don't get the Shins, I don't frickin' get it, guys. So the question I want to leave with you is, if you like indie rock bands, suggest a band that I might actually enjoy. Even the bands that I mentioned. Throw some names of bands that have basically been releasing albums in the past maybe 5 years. That's the shortest amount of span that I can give you. If you throw a band from the 60s or 70s or the 80s or the 90s, I'm gonna know them, I'm probably gonna love them, and most likely have all their albums, or a compilation of their songs because I just don't like their albums as a whole. Video responses. Suggest. Help me. I don't want to be that guy who grows too old and is still not with it. Actions speak louder than words.